Hello, streaming to you live. I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2025. And I have an interesting story to tell you today. Largely because my mom fell down the stairs last week. And she decided not to tell me. And up until Saturday, I learned on Saturday. So Sunday, I get into my vehicle and I drive over and I go to see how she's doing. So she tells me this story. She was walking down the stairs at 6 o'clock in the morning and it was dark. She says she always holds on to the railing and somehow she missed her step and now she's fallen. So the staircase in the house has 5 or 6, maybe more, maybe 10 steps. I can't remember now how many. And then there's a small landing. Then you turn to the right, and then you walk down another 4 or 5 steps. The fall began before the landing. So she's missed, and she falls forward. She hits her front torso on the corner. Boom. And now she spins, rotates around, lands on her tailbone as she's still falling, and then falls even more forward onto the floor where she finally hit, there was a piece of small furniture, like a footstool. Hits there, hit her head on the footstool. And she says, I don't know how it happened, but I remember seeing a flash of light. And then she kind of groggily got up, and she said, she's praying, please don't take me now. That's what she said. She's speaking to God. Please don't take me now. So a few days goes by. She's a pretty tough woman. Pretty tough lady. She's dealing with the pain. No painkillers, no nothing. So I say, well, okay, I'm going to visit you the next day. Sunday I go to see her. You can see here the first bruise. This is the first one. Okay, I took the picture at 4 o'clock. Because I had other things, errands to run out that day, so it was later in the day. I didn't know what to kind of expect. There's the big bruise there. So when you look at that, I think, oh my, but what's going on here? So I said, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try to fix this. And I had with me one set of the Ice Wave patches. One set. So they work in a pair. So you have there's a brown colored one patch and then a white colored patch. And I said, okay, Mom, you need to take this brown one and you need to put it on the spot where it hurts the most, where the pain is the sharpest. She says, okay. So she grabs it and she places the brown one right there. So when you look at it, it's about right here. So the sternum is here, and then just to the right of the sternum, she says she puts it on. And I said, okay, now with the white one, we're going to experiment a little bit. And the reason being is because it works on the electricity inside your body, similar to acupuncture points. And I said, I'm gonna move it around. And she said, my shoulder also hurts. So I said, okay. So I thought, all right, maybe the medial position of the medial deltoid would be appropriate. So I take it and I put it, the white part of the ice wave. Of course, it's not doing what I want to do. Come on. And I place the white patch right there. That's of the ice wave. And then the next moment I asked, Mom, on a score of 0 to 10, before you put on the patch, where was the pain at? She says 10. 10. And by the time the next question came to ask, where is it now? She was in shock. She said, it's 2. She said, and I asked, are you sure? She says, yeah. I said, oh, okay. And then I thought, all right, well, I need to assist her healing process with the addition of X39. I put it on the back of her neck. As you see, I'm wearing it right here. The X39. And a few minutes goes by. She gets up. She walks a few steps, and I noticed already a change in her. She had a little pep in her step. Not knowing where she was kind of going, but she actually got up and she went to go get her wallet. She says, how much do I owe you? I said, huh? She says, yeah, how much? I said, oh, okay, well, I don't have any more ice waves, but, we can place an order. So we go through the process of placing an order, and after all said and done, two packages of ice wave, as you see on the screen, and 2 packages of X39. And that's my story today. And the reason being is because I've been talking about these patches now since April of 2025. To my family, anybody who would listen. And I am here online, live streaming to you 6 days a week, trying to explain to you, but also demonstrate what I'm feeling from a fitness perspective as far as how this technology works. And it's unfortunate that an incident like this has to occur in order for a reaction to occur. And because I'm how would you say, a pretty proactive person when it comes to preventative maintenance. I don't like to procrastinate. And trying to convey a message to somebody who doesn't have any problems, it's hard to really express or communicate what the technology of the patches can do for you. Not just me, but for you. And my point is that the longer you wait, then you're missing out on the benefits from it. Because it's one thing to live well, live pain-free, but live long, live well. And there's another part of the slogan, but I'm just trying to remember what it was. By life, what they were saying. Can you reap the benefits from it? The X39? The ice wave? I was I had a pretty strong, how would you say, understanding of how well the ice wave works. But to see it in action, and then to see my dad's reaction, because he also suffered broken ribs a few years ago, and I didn't have ice wave at that time. Had I known about it, if I could rewind the clock, that would have been the first thing I'd give him. The first thing. Because to see his reaction after what my mom was experiencing, it's like the light bulb just went bing, like the light switch, just instant. I didn't have to say anything. I read his reaction, the silent communication, and I said, Dad, okay, we're going to put an X39 on you. I gave him some patches earlier, but he made some comments, stubborn old guy. I don't need these stupid things and all this kind of stuff. No hesitation when I put it on yesterday. None. So needless to say, my parents are, how would you say, sold on the fact that the technology works. And I didn't pressure them. I wanted to encourage. I want to be supportive and also helpful. But now they know. They know it works. And I encourage you, whoever knows my parents, to watch out for them. The best is yet to come. Now, can the ice wave help you if you have some chronic pain? If you have chronic pain, the ice wave will help alleviate that, because there's no you're not consuming any pills. It only works with the light. And you think, how can this light affect the body in such a pronounced way? Well, I'll be the first to tell you it works. Because I don't like paying for something that doesn't work. And I'll tell you it works when help healing my body. How I feel day in and day out. But one thing you must remember, that the technology, the X39, the ice wave, it works on what I call the bioenergy, which is the electricity inside your body, inside my body. We all have it. And you need to support that electricity with other good choices as well, in order for it to be successful in maximizing that electricity. And one of those pieces is what I call the cleanest and most absorbable water. Deuterium free, with a molecular bond angle of 114 degrees. Now, my parents, they drank this water. And could it be one of the reasons why my mom felt the relief that she did? Probably. But when you combine the power of the light with that of the water, now you're starting to do something that the body knows and recognizes and can go pow and do its thing. Because the healing system is on autopilot inside the body. You don't control it. Just it knows what to do. God gave you the power. God gave you the innate healing power. So how do you support it? Well, light is one of those pieces. And when it's cloudy and snowing like it is today in Alberta, there's People not getting the sunlight. So, like I said before, can you offset that? Make it easy? Yep. Right here. With the X39. Which you can also find. When you scan this QR code that you see right here on the screen, it'll take you to lifewave.com/Gordon Tomazik, because I am a registered brand member with LifeWave. My first and last name, as you see written at the bottom of the screen. Place your order. At least, if anything, for IceWave. Because to have that ticking around when you really need it for those days that, you know, you have to, and all you got to do is, like I say, you put the brown one on the area that hurts the most. If it's on your chest or something like that, then find the other electrical point. You might have to experiment a bit before you get the direct connection, and you can give yourself some instant relief in 1 minute, probably. That's what happened with my mom. I was shocked. And my dad was sold. Because he knows what pain is. He knows what broken ribs feels like, because he went through it. It ain't fun. You can't sleep, you can't turn, you can't get up, you can't do all kinds of things. Now, it's one thing to kill the pain, but it's another thing to support the healing. And that's where the X39 comes into play. So, is it an unfortunate situation? Yes, it is. Right? So you can see here how it's affecting my mom. And when I look at this picture, no, not this one, this one. So you could kind of see to the, if you're looking at, it'll be on her right, your left. When you're looking at the picture on the left side, somewhere like, I don't know, here, where one of those ribs connected to the sternum, probably fractured, considering how much bruising she has. So I think she probably broke the rib right there as soon as she landed on the railing, falling forward and spinning around. So my mom's a tough lady. Reminds me of another story from earlier in my life where she was tough. But all I want to say is this stuff works, man. It works. I wouldn't be talking about it if it doesn't. Get on board. What are you waiting for? Is it financial? It's too much? If you're into your holistic health, it's one thing to replenish your body, right? But it's another thing to support it in another way. And the light is what's the other piece of the puzzle. And if you're not getting enough, then the X39 is where you need to start looking. Because it works. I'll tell you, I know what it feels like. Especially when I put my body through the paces. I make the muscle scream under tension. I make it burn. A lot of people, they don't like that uncomfortable feeling. But if you're into wanting to create hypertrophy in the body and strengthen the body, you got to create the micro tears first. It's needed. And then that way you're forcing the body to repair itself, but I'm supporting the repair process with the X39 and the water, because the water is the spark. That's the fuel that's necessary for mitochondria, stem cells inside the body, to strengthen and duplicate itself and increase the amount of stem cells inside the body. And when you do that consistently, now you're going to be in a position where you're going to start winning. Much like the guy that I posted the other day. 2023, 2 years later, and his skin is he's a different person. Well, why is that? It has everything to do with stem cells. He's supporting his body. Is he drinking 114-degree molecular bond angle water? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, I'm reaping the I'm really starting to see it now. Next time you see me, take a very good close look. Very close look. And that'll be, if your eyes don't tell you, then you're not looking close enough. You need to fix your eyes. And can the X39 help with that too? You don't know until you try. So with that, let's get on with it. It's time for exercise. I'm going to do a 9-minute warm-up, and then back and bicep exercises. I'm going to set the metronome at 165 for tempo. Let's begin. We'll get up to that speed. We need to want to have a minute or so. Get the blood flow. Maybe I'll reduce the tempo. I'm going to put it at 132. Alright, so I'm switching it up. Wow, I was surprised I got through that one without tripping. liking the double unders today. And I like how it feels. Ouch. I'm gonna try some crisscrosses. Those double under crisscrosses, they're hard to do consecutive. I'm broken. When I say consecutive, I mean like this, but doubles. Because it's such an explosive movement. Alright, I'm just gonna now increase the pace for the duration. So, I'm going to set up here for the first one's going to be this guy. Okay. It's kind of experimenting a little bit before I started the live stream. Selecting the which exercises I'm planning on performing today. So I'm going to start with a lying down kind of pull-up type motion. So I like to keep using the vibration plate because of the activation that the muscle activation that it encourages. I really like how it feels, and it makes the burn come on faster when you add adequate resistance. And when you combine those two things together, that's when I really start to feel the difference in how the muscle feels, and and the body is responding to it. Because if I were to take my shirt off, then you would see. But I'm a humble person, so that day will come eventually. But and when it does, I'm sure that a lot of you may be inspired or motivated to say, hey, I can do that too. 6 days. I don't know if it's 6 days a week, 5 days. Even if you did 5 days a week and you focus on the or 4 days a week. 4 days. I do 2 extra. One of those days is the fitness test, and the other is just a conditioning type test. So with that, the first exercise is going to be yeah, maybe we'll slightly forward. Yeah, okay, I think that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to put the bands in this way, and then I'm going to, I need my hands here, sit forward like this, and okay, that's good. So by changing the should be 3 minutes. So by lying on the vibration plate, this, so I'm holding the, now as if I'm doing a actual pull-up. And by having the second bands here, you can see them. When I pull it all the way down, I get part of that row feel. So I'm getting almost the complete range of motion. So here, now, pulling vibration plate. So there we go. And you can mimic a chin up, but it's only the elbows that are doing the work. So the bicep is not involved. I will be focusing on the bicep on a different exercise muscle doesn't know any numbers, only resistance. So when you apply it and you get the activation that you want, yes. Could I put a little bit more resistance? This is good because I want to focus on the lats, pulling down. If I was a tall person, this would be, you know, or if you're, let's say, a hockey player and you want to be able to have a strong, heavy stick. Well, you get a heavy stick by having the lat muscles do the work. The lat muscles are nice and big. Then they hold that stick down. So that's why it's good to be able to do pull-ups, but this here puts a lot of focus just on the lats itself. There's a good stretch on it. See, the bands are moving lots. So I've got a total of, I don't know, 20 pounds. So it's kind of like I'm upside down right here and lifting up like this. You wouldn't think it's a lot of weight, but it's enough to create the stimulation in the muscle. And my butt is resting on the floor, so there's a bigger stretch on the lats. I could increase the stretch by using the steps as well. That's a variation I can use for next week. But for today, this feels good. So I did mention I would hold or have the metronome ticking away, but this is okay. I'm listening to my body and feeling the lats. I could crisscross them a little bit so I could get a little bit more. Just crisscross these guys. That's what I meant to say. And then that way there's a little bit more tension at the top. So that definitely feels good. Just a few more reps. If you had a cable machine, you could do it this way as well. If you don't have the bands. And this is kind of like an assisted, well, when you have the reduced weight, it's similar to an assisted pull-up. But this one here, you have free range of motion. So you could focus on different parts of the lat, you know, and if the joint is uncomfortable, like holding the bar, you know, like there's different reasons why some people may not be able to do a lat pull-up. This is a nice, easier, more flexible variation for that. There we go. Oh, all right. Next one, I'm going to switch to a stand-up version of the row. Oh yeah. So now, I said I'm going to sit down on this guy. So I'm going to find a spot here. Okay, like this. I think that's about good. I'm going to switch this back so it's not crossing each other. So, with these bands here, it gives you there's lots of flexibility and options that you can do. Like it's very good. So if you're looking for equipment that assists you now, so I'm going to focus more on the by moving the plate just a little off center. Now I have enough of a bounce that I can put my feet on there to support. And by having the bands like this, again I'm taking the bicep out of the pull. I want to focus strictly on more on the lats. I want them to do the work. I want to get the bicep involved. And there's enough of a bounce. So holding the action or the extending the elbows behind the torso, getting a full range, a more complete range of motion. And if you wanted to focus more on the, see if I just going to move this slightly back a little bit more so I get a slightly more stretch on the rear lats. And now a little bit a full stretch. Now slowly reeling the elbows in. All the way through, all the way full extension. Doing some isometric negatives, so holding slow all the way through. Halfway now, back the other direction. My elbows are at my torso, now behind. So adding the vibration obviously gives another dynamic feel. So forcing the muscle. This is kind of like calisthenics almost, but on steroids. You want to call it that. Full extension. There's a full stretch. Alright. And then you could feel when you do the same rep without the vibration plate, you can feel where the linear, how it's different than the vibration. It's a different feel. And when you apply the adequate resistance, you're going to get that burn. Okay. Alright, so next I have, I'm going to incorporate the Bosu ball, largely because this time, I need a little bit of extra space. And the reason being is because now I want to focus on, maybe I can try this way. Yeah, I need a little bit more. You could actually do it this way. Instead, taking this step and then putting the vibration plate on top. And that way, I move this here, and then I want my elbows not to touch, just to be high enough. So doing this way like a smash. So finishing off the this before. This is actually the very first time we're doing it this way. Very first time. Alright, now take the bands off. I should have enough. Yeah. So if I tie it, anchor it on the elbows like this. This kind of worries me, this cable, because I don't want to lean on and do exactly what I did over a year ago. Okay. Now, so taking the elbows like this and moving it through. So here. So kind of like I'm going, oh yes, got my hands up in the sky. You can do this standing, but then to add the vibration plate, can hold it. So if you had a bar or something, you can hold onto the bar and then go underneath and strengthen those muscles there. Or you can take the band and put it like this. Oh yeah, it feels different. There's a little bit more tension because it's farther away. So this is part of the range of motion that you may not get when you're lying on your back. So if you're a swimmer and let's say you have an injury or something like that, you could strengthen this part of the back muscles by taking your hands like this and working all those different muscle fibers. So if you're, let's say your range of motion, your strongest point is here, focus on strengthening it there. So this is good if you need to do some physio work. This works as well. Can apply the adequate amount of resistance and strengthen those muscle fibers in those parts of the area of the body that don't get the activation that maybe they, or the attention that they deserve. All right, feels very good. Oh yeah, very good. Okay, next is I'm going to be standing. So I'm going to take the vibration plate. I'm going to put these back like this. Alright. Okay, I said standing. So, turn this guy around. This, so it's closer. And what I'm going to do, so I'm going to be doing a bicep curl. So similar to an incline where, yes, okay. So is take this guy, possibly put him here. I like to use the dual bands or dual angles to get the full range of motion. So by shortening this, they're both going to be short. There we go. That maybe slightly less. There we go. Ah, there. That's money. Okay. So now program 1. There we go. And now I curl it. It can go one at a time if you need to. Now here the bicep is at full extension. So I'm alternating this time. So this is having the elbows behind the back and curling it, bands anchored at 2 different points. The bicep is at full extension. So now I'm just going to kind of anchor them like this, pull it inward. So I'm doing like a, you can see how my elbows are out, strengthening the, if you go wide, this is more like a, for the short head. Oh yeah, very good. Wow, the burn is incredible. Whew. This time I'm using actually a little more weight than I normally do. Tell heart rate monitor, blood's being taken by the bicep, squeezing out all the blood. I'm really focusing on the on really constricting the muscle, like just forcing it to do the work. Wow. Okay. That felt really. It's already fatigued. Now I'm going to switch to a preacher curl, and I just realized I need a towel for that. And I'm going to, yeah, okay. I'm going to try, how much was this? 19. So that's 8, 8 and 8, 16. Oh, okay. I'm going to put it here. Yes. So I'm using the black band, which is cut in half. So that's 8.5 and 8. So total of 16 pounds worth of band resistance. Doesn't seem like much, but when you add the vibration, it's very, very, very good feeling. So I'm just going to check to see how much distance there is here before I begin. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good tension. Alright, so I'm going to grab this towel. This time I'm not going to do too much of the pronation and supination. I'm just going to focus on, or maybe I can. Let's see, do a few reps. Okay, so P1. Here we go. So now I'm just going to hold it as long as I can at the peak. See how long it takes before the blood doesn't go to the... I could include some supination. I'm going to try. Oh yeah, okay. Whoa. Now I'm going to do the negative. Oh my, the bicep is just fatigued. Trying to... Trying to get it full. Wow. Feel that long head. Supination. Come on. Oh. Okay. Wow. So that was supination. Now I'm going to focus on pronation. So holding it this way. Wow. I can really feel those biceps. If anything, this really builds the endurance in the bicep. How much do you got? If you're any of you listening are arm wrestlers, this is like so dynamic. Not that I'm going to be doing any arm wrestling anytime soon, but you really want to wow. Wow. This pronation, to be able to get both at the same time, really tells you, you know which one is weaker. For me, it's my left because of my injury that I acquired when I was a teenager. I fractured the wrist. It never really healed correctly. But maybe it'll heal now. One thing I like is you can move your position of your wrists like a little bit wider or narrower when you're doing the pronation, keeping it dynamic. Gotta be careful. Feel that wrist. All right. What time is it? Oh yeah, okay. So, that's a wrap. Today's date. November 24th, 2025. Starting time 2:14 p.m. Heart rate. So, my endurance is up. Everything's up. So, that's it for another edition of Unlike Your Bioenergy. So, tune in for tomorrow. Tacky Tuesday. We'll be talking about another subject. So, rest up, eat well, sleep well, recover well, and I'll see you tomorrow.